Good morning, everyone. Welcome to webinar by PPM Express. Today we'll talk about how we can improve portfolio management and visibility for Microsoft Project Online in more complex environment and companies who use multiple tools, waterfall, agile, and how they can manage and manage projects and portfolios. My name is Anton Kravtsov. I'm CEO of the PPM Express. PPM Express, it's a company that started at Fluent Pro Software, but right now we are independent company. So it's a spin-off from Fluent Pro Software. And we build this product to answer and to address the needs that modern business has with fragmented visibility that the corporation experience. The reason is that in many organizations, there is more than one tool for work management or project management. It can be Microsoft Project Online, that's my main subject today, but in addition to Project Online, you might have Planner, you might have Azure DevOps, you might have Jira, you might have Dynamics, you might have in future, in couple months or later in October, you will have access to project service from Microsoft, the new offering for simplified project management. So there are multiple tools. And right now, it results in fragmented visibility of that information. Projects are like they live like an island. Companies need to go and search for that information. Very often there's no common process for project management, portfolio management, simple because like the tools are very different. The waterfall and agile, it's like two different universes. No matter that we're talking about the projects, and same like for example we're talking about the planner, it's very simplified. There is no status, there is no cost, there is like many simplifications done. So and that leads to like we have projects, we have work, but it's so different and it's mentioned so many different systems that it's not unified. There's no common process, and the biggest problem for top management is that they have to request that information. They have to wait for that information to get a big picture or make some decision on starting new project, canceling some of the project, or addressing issues that some of the projects might have. In addition to that, companies say that, okay, we have some part of the projects that are mentioned agile, part of the project, for example, marketing plan, it can be managed in waterfall schedule. How do we merge that information together? Because like it's still the same initiative and the same project, no matter that some components are managed differently. So there are multiple problems, and statistics show that at this point that more than 90% of companies they already use agile, and probably 100% of companies they still have some of the components that are waterfall. So merging that information, getting that one big picture, it's very critical task for organization. What executive expect is that they want to have, and business needs, they want to have complete visibility of all work in organization, and they want to be able to see that information in one location. It's no matter if it's multiple project online instances, Azure DevOps, Planner, Jira, Smartsheets, Asana, so many systems that you might have. Still, management want one location where they can see all that information together and have control over that information, use that information for reporting so they can make data-based decisions. So very quickly about why we're talking about the PPM Express and what is the PPM Express. So PPM Express is software as a service application, runs on Azure, and it instantly put available, so there's no like any deployment required. So there are some configuration step, but it's like it's up and running immediately. The main we solve several big problems with PPM Express. First of all, It's a platform for portfolio visibility. We're trying to get that one location where management can see all the projects in same in the same place. So that's the main the main main focus of the application. Second is that if we gap the bridge between the agile and waterfall, and we provide that agile portfolio management capabilities. If you, for example, if you go to the Azure DevOps, there's like no, you have to spend a lot of time configuring Azure DevOps to support the agile methodology. But again, like there's no connection to waterfall, there's no connection to smaller system and other components. Third component, which is very important, is like we try to make portfolio management and project management, and that all the work with portfolio and project more visual. Because if we, being frankly, if we go to project online, what we have is a grid, this list of projects. Like if you need to go to the timeline, you can build a roadmap, but roadmap it's very you mostly work on the work items elements or some task or milestones. So it's kind of like it's more you can build portfolio roadmap, but it requires a lot of effort. And by being in the Microsoft ecosystem as our one of our main focuses, is we definitely integrate with all Office 365 platform. Microsoft project, like you sign in with Office, you have the Office 365 account, you connect natively with Microsoft Project Online. We have connectivity for Azure DevOps Planner, and we'll have connectivity to Project Service. So it's all, and that's pretty much in the PPM Express. I will show in the detail during the demo how it looks and what it does and how it connects to the system and how the information presented. But yeah, let's move to the next slide. Our concept is not to replace any tools. The tools that company selected for managing work, those decisions were made for a reason. Some teams doesn't want to manage the online, for example, project in Azure DevOps and Project Plan because it's too complicated. They need maybe simple task management or very lightweight project management like what Planner provides. Companies might have traditionally used Jira software or Azure DevOps, and they're not going to switch to one system that does it all, because in most cases, when you say that you have universal systems that can manage all types of projects, is that you have compromises somewhere, and very likely it's not the right choice. So our idea is that you are connecting data. The PPM Express connects to your work management and project management system, gets information about the projects and work and your sources from that information, and renders that in PPM Express. So you can consider it's like it's aggregator that solves that visibility problem, brings all that information together into one location for consumption. One of the scenarios that we see that is important for large organizations who use Microsoft Project Online is scenario that if you have multiple PWAs, in most cases, again, like even if it's one tool, there is very limited way to get that portfolio visibility. Like you cannot get enterprise-wide portfolio visibility, or like if you look at that picture from the enterprise PMO, it's same like different tools, different departments, very often different configurations that are not connected together. And PPM Express, by connecting to those tools and getting all that information, it can solve the situation. So we have large customers who have anywhere from 5 to 20 PWAs. Yes, you can have reporting for that, but again, that big picture is missing, and companies badly need that information. When I talk about the visual portfolio management, is that we have tiles. Definitely, we have a grid, but what we try to do is we try to add some, live colors to that boring gray schema that typically you have. So stats are colorful, they're visible. You can have icons. You kind of like we try to work on making sure that you can visually see that information on screen and get to the details. And if needed, you can go deep down and still like see that in more visual format than just boring flat page. And it's important because like when information is presented visually and visually, it's so much easier right now. Say, okay, I have projects that is requires my attention because it's at risk. It overall stats. I need to show that it's orange. Probably I need to spend some time there and make some decision or research why is it, and I don't have to search for that information like in these filters, but still it's like it's immediately visible here. So if you go to the demo, let me switch to my demo environment and we'll go from there. So what we have in PPM Express is, it's, as you can see, it's a web application. And it has two components. So first component is definitely portfolios. Second component it's projects, and the third component is resources. So the projects, we built a very robust system where we can have hybrid models and agile projects and waterfall projects. So I'll show how that works. But the main point is that first of all you have portfolio. And you can see, for example, you can see all the portfolios where you see a list of all your portfolios. And if you want to open it, you can open and see the projects that are part of that portfolio. That's our timeline view where you can see all your projects, all your portfolios. And for example, if I look at that portfolio, I can have some information. So, okay, there is a project, there is a release plan for that project on the March 24th. Is it completed? Yes, it displays all that information. So you can find immediately all that information from the project by moving the mouse, seeing the project details, when it starts, when it's finished, what is the budget, where it's managed. So with stats, with everything. We definitely provide some additional views where you can see that in the grid view with information, or for example, you can see that in the status-based information. So we have all the different views and the filters that you can apply to a system. For example, I want to say, okay, I want to see information just for a single portfolio, R&D portfolio. It shows my R&D portfolio and information. And the third view that we have is a tile view where you can see same information represented in the tile view, where you see like all your portfolios. And again, like as you can see, we try to make it more visual, saying that okay, the portfolio is maybe at risk and has one project at risk, and here is there are 4 projects at risk. Maybe if I have 4 projects at risk, maybe I would immediately ask myself why the portfolio is on track when I have that information. And we have that functionality coming that will show some warning saying that, okay, something wrong is with your data. Maybe your status of portfolio is wrong or it's outdated. Please go and check and maybe update it. If I'm here in the information technology, I can click that immediately at risk, and I can get to the list of projects that are at risk. I immediately will see. It shows that my portfolio is information technology, and I'm showing the projects that at risk. Immediately I can see that. And here again, like you can switch to the grid view, see those projects, or you can switch to the timeline view where you can have you can have project and you can apply all the different filters. For example, I say show me all the critical projects, or show me the projects that are active or at risk. So you can absolutely apply all those different filters. If you go to portfolio, for example, if I click on my R&D portfolio, I will get to like portfolio dashboard. So we call the portfolio details page. So you have portfolio, it's on track. You have statuses that way you can define. You have timeline. You have some summary, how many projects you have on track, at risk, critical, duration of portfolio, if you have dates for your portfolio, and some key dates that are portfolio level key dates that you can have. As part of the screen, you also can see projects that are part of the portfolio. And again, like you can, it's very visual. You have timeline, but if you need, you can go to grid line and maybe see projects. You can show the budgets. You can show like all the different information here. It's highly configurable, and you configure all those columns to display. And you have the portfolio level dates. So we have the same component for both projects and portfolios. You can track the important dates for your portfolio. Sometimes it may be some release dates across your product, and maybe portfolio it will be your product with multiple projects that are part of the portfolio. So you can have the high level dates that are defined. It can be milestones, it can be some just key dates or releases that you can track for your portfolio. In addition to that, you have a section very similar like what Microsoft provides in and many systems provide, like custom fields or project detail page. We have section called the details, where you can configure all the different fields and create additional attributes for projects and portfolios. So you have that ability to create additional attributes. For example, I can go here and say that, okay, maybe I want to show the last modified date, or I want to show the budget, or want to show like overall status as a field here. So it's kind of like it's very easily configurable, and then you can save that as configuration. So it's reused. And the last component, which is very important, is that we have a financial module here where you can create a budget forecast for your portfolio. For example, you can say, okay, I want to see that on the quarterly basis, and enter that information, and that will be your portfolio budget that you can have and that you can use that you can use. And even, for example, you can say that, okay, show me some highlights. If there are some discrepancies, show me the heat map where I can see the differences in a system as well. So that's a portfolio view. That's a component that is container for projects. And if I go to one of the projects, for example, I will click on that X5 deployment, and what we'll have here. So definitely we have a timeline. And if I look at the top of my screen, I see that it's connected to Azure DevOps and it's connected to Project Online. So that's a type of the hybrid projects where part of the schedule is managed in Microsoft Project Online and part of the schedule is managed in Azure DevOps. So I click here, I will get to my backlog, to my projects in Azure DevOps, and I can see the backlog, and I can see my backlog, and maybe go to sprints and see all that information here. So I see that I have 5 sprints, and some sprints already have some work planned, so it's perfect. Same time, if I go to Microsoft Project Online, I will have Microsoft Project Online, and the system will get to a project detail page for this project. So I see my project, I see my schedule for that project as well. So within Microsoft Project Online. And the beauty as well, if you're talking about the Microsoft Project Online and both Azure DevOps, that if you have the high level scope, you don't have to maintain it in multiple places. So if I go to my X5 deployment, if I go to the details page, that here's my level scope, there's my statuses, there is my dates, all that will come through mapping from Microsoft Project Online from the field. So you don't have to manually update any of that information in PPM Express if you properly set up the mapping. So information can flow from Project Online to PPM Express, or you can configure that information will flow from PPM Express to Project Online as well. So it's all possible. We support that mapping where you can configure it. So let me show how it's done. So you will see that it's quite simple. So if I go to Project Online here, connector, and I click on those 2 arrows, I will have my mapping here. And just a second load. So it's some information that I configured that information flows from Microsoft Project Online into into PPM Express. Same goes for Azure DevOps. So we have a project, and with Azure DevOps, we even have more features because we understand that it's highly configurable system, and companies might have so many different levels of hierarchy for systems. So I have a section for with additional filter where I can map connect not to just a project, but I can go to the epic. I will say that, okay, maybe I have a high level system. Maybe my project is like portfolio or program in Azure DevOps, and I want to track information and map my project to epic. My epic is a project, and I want to be able to do that. So you're absolutely able to go to epic or go to AirPass or even go to single iteration. So it's so much flexible to support all the different scenarios of using the Azure DevOps. If you're getting back to projects, so we have a timeline. Here I have my sprints and I see like dates for my sprints. Here on timeline I see my key dates and my some iterations that displayed on the timeline. For example, I see that I have pilot release planned on the November 20th, and it's not completed. So again, like I can see here. And as you remember, this project connected to both Project Online and Azure DevOps. And what I can see here is that system automatically got the milestones from schedule, added them to the key date section, and that's my milestones that I manually created here in PPM Express. So you can have that combination. So if you have risk, system will get your risk. If you have issues, system will automatically get and synchronize all the issues from Project Online and shows that. And me as a portfolio manager, project manager, I really don't need to do anything. I still work in my schedule. I still work in Azure DevOps, managing my sprints, and everything will be automatically rendered here in PPM Express. Sprints. I have 5 iterations for my project. I see the timeline here. What I can do is, for example, I have a sprint. I want to see the board for that sprint. I click on that icon, and system will get me to the board for that specific sprint. So I say, okay, every sprint didn't start, or it's like I have everything in the new, so nothing resolved, all information here. Here's my user stories, here's my task, so I can, if needed, I can go and see that information. So, and it's pretty much all one click to get to the details of the project. We have the same concept as on the portfolio, like I described, where you have a section with custom fields, and you can have all that information tracked here. You can add additional fields, which is very, very easy. And we have here's a schedule component where I can see summary for example, for current iteration. So, okay, I have 1 feature that is new. I have 2 issues closed, 11 tasks, and 2 user stories. So that's my total. But if I want to see the schedule for my Project Online project, I just click here, and I'll have the summary tasks from my schedule displayed here, and it shows like which ones are complete, which are not completed, and what is the overall progress for my project. So very convenient, and it's available here. So we will be working and making the schedule component more visual, so you can see the Gantt chart and the timeline view for your milestones high level. So that's features that we planned for upcoming quarter, and so it's like you really, the idea that we want to make sure that you will need to click that go to project as little as possible, especially if you're a manager, so you can see more visual information about the schedules as well. So what you see is like here is only 5 sections, 6 sections available: summary, key dates, details, schedule. But in fact, we have way more sections here. So you can go to configure sections, and we have action items, which is like many companies have on their project side. You have budgets, you have change requests, issues, risks, lessons learned, key decision, team information. So like we build those components that you, at any point of the time, as a project manager or as an executive, you can start, okay, or as a PMO, you can say, okay, for all projects, no matter if it's even the planner projects or Azure DevOps, you want to track issues and risks. And you can have that as part of your process. You can make sure that it's part of the configuration and the project details configuration. Whenever you create projects, those elements will be visible, and it means the project manager will need to get and fill that information, even if its data is not there in project. For example, in Planner or Azure DevOps, you can track all that information in PPM Express. And by doing that, that's exactly creates that common framework that goes across different tools and different platforms, even different PWAs. You can have that information. You can like establish that common framework and common process. Couple more items on the project. So again, like if you go to project list, you have them in the timeline view. You can go to the status grid view, and for example, I can say, okay, I would like to see my statuses for my project. I have my grid here. I'll say, okay, show me the projects that are on track. Maybe it's too many. Show me the projects that are at risk. So okay, I have about like 10 projects here that are at risk. Very often, customers on the project lines, they ask for such information. Can I do the bulk edit for my project? Can I change the, for example, this status without like going to project and changing that status? Maybe I can do couple operations here. We built pretty much for every screen, we build the bulk edit feature. You click here, you get to the grid, and you say, okay, this project is on track, and this one is on track as well. I press save. Okay, I have my project here. So it's immediately applies information. So it's very easy to edit that information, and it's built in pretty much for everything, for resources, for project, for portfolios. Regarding the statuses, for example, I have some projects that are marked as ideas, and I will get a little bit about that. So I have 3 projects that are on the idea stage, and I have my idea view. So I have the priority, project score, budget, so I can do some high level or low level prioritization of projects. Say, okay, yeah, we are ready to do this project. Budget is okay. It's priority. It's managed by, it's submitted by someone, by that person, that sponsor, and I can mark it to the project and to the execution. Very soon in October, we are releasing the module for social ideation. So where you will be able you can publish a module to everyone in the organization where companies your employees can create, report ideas and submit ideas of projects, and pretty much anything. It can be improvements, it can be project, it can be any request that goes through discussions in Microsoft Teams, so it will be all connected. So like you can have discussions, there will be a voting, and then there's a selection process where then selected ideas can be created as projects. And even more than that, how the flow will be that, for example, I have that idea, maybe it's created as a project. What you can do in PPM Express, for example, it works for Planner right now, but we plan to do that for all the systems. If I go to Planner, I have an option to create a plan. So immediately when you have approved your ideas, that will create a project in Microsoft Project Online, or plan in Microsoft Planner, or Epic in Azure DevOps, or project in Azure Azure DevOps that will be automatically linked with that entity. So we're trying to bring that complete flow from idea to projects that are ready for planning and or for execution in target system. Couple more items. Pretty much in every section you have those 3 dots, and that's where we integrate our reporting. Our reporting is based on Microsoft Power BI. So we have a package of Power BI. So we have 2 options. We have embedded reports, which are available as a additional paid option, or you can have since many organizations have their own Power BI licenses. What you can do is like you can have you can use your Power BI license and just deploy our pack. Our pack right now has about 70 different reports on all the aspects. For example, I can see my portfolio somewhere where I can see my project. I can drill down to single portfolio and see the project of that. I can go, for example, from that. For example, I can see my financial details for my portfolio. So I will have all the projects and budgets for the portfolio. I can go from single projects to to for example, from list of projects, I can go to single projects. From there, I can go to resource utilization tasks that are assigned to a specific person. And system shows like where the data is managed in which system. I can click here, and that will get me to project line. So it's all connected. There are all the links. We have all the data quality reports, governance. So you can see, you can get pretty much everything from the data. And the beauty is that you can get that information across all the systems, and you don't need to create additional report, connect to the multiple data sources and spend hundreds of hours on Power BI to figure out how to do that and be build and merge that information. It's immediately available and it's out of the box. And again, as I mentioned, we cover in our reports, we cover both everything from portfolio, single portfolio, project, resources, and important aspect that we have is we have data governance, which is also like very critical for organization with a lot of the data and with a significant number of projects. For example, what I can do here is I can run the project data quality, and maybe as PMO or as PMO director or as PMO's organization, we decided that okay, we want to do the risk management. We want to make sure that that everyone has some dates and tracks costs. So I immediately can get some kind of like a matrix where I can check the quality of my portfolio, all the projects that I have here for all those checks. So we have those checks available here, and we will be adding more and more checks additional. For example, show me all the projects that have no tasks. Okay, everything looks good, like every project has tasks. Show me those projects that have no description. Here's a huge number of projects that have no description. Maybe I can address them. So we understand that data quality is critical, especially in the systems that aggregate that information, and that's why we bring all that information together. If we go quickly back to my portfolio here, I can show you one of the scenarios that we discussed, that where we have a multiple PWAs in this environment. For example, in this case, if I go to marketing, it's my project here. They mentioned Microsoft Project Online, and they live on the PWA that is called marketing. And the project that we showed this before, it can be, so that's a marketing project. If I go to different portfolio, for example, I go to my information technology, and I have the project here. If I click on that project, it sits on the separate PWA, which is called the IT. So that's a typical scenario where, like, from reporting standpoint, from portfolio management standpoint, I really don't care where the project is managed, because I'm interested in the status, I'm interested in the dates, I'm interested in the schedule, I'm interested in the risk, and I control that. But is it in Jira? Is it in Project Online? Is it on the PWA or PWB, or it's in Planner? It is important, but it's not critical. It's not stopping me from making decisions and doing my work as a portfolio manager or as an executive. Okay, let me go quickly to back to my presentation, and we'll go. So the reason why we create PPM Express and why we see the very great anticipation of the product by customers, that we consolidate the project management and agile portfolio management. Again, like as we discussed, more than 90% companies have that agile, but like pretty much everyone has the traditional project management. The problem is there by having all that information together and have a common tool for portfolio management. Second, which we believe we doing that, is that we trying to present that information in more visual format. So like we trying to show, like, okay, here is you need to spend, like, that's a project that requires attention. There are some warnings about the data quality. So we're trying to present that in more visual format, that it's much easier, that you don't have to search for that information. It's immediately visible in colors, and you can act on those highlights. We bring all that information on the Microsoft platform, bring together We bring portfolio management for agile, I would say agile work. So for Azure DevOps, for Jira, for Microsoft Planner, because like companies who use that for we have customers who have hundreds of Microsoft Planner plans. They say, okay, we need to see the big picture. We need to be able to run reports. We need to be able to see status of projects which are running late or not. We cannot do that right now. With PPM Express, they can do that. We have very advanced what we built in the beginning. We understand that every company is unique, but at the same time, we tried to kind of like to make a very simple approach for configuring views and information in the system. So we have all those ability to have different sections. We hide them by default. So if you don't have it, if you don't want to use it, like you have maybe 4 or 5 sections by default. But if you want to start tracking risk issues, maybe you want to start tracking some additional elements like change requests, you can do it with the system and there are components for it. What to bring, and as I displayed, we allow companies to create hybrid projects. So it means that what you can do is you can have your part of the schedule mentioned multiple systems. I showed that on as an example, like two systems, one in Azure DevOps and one in Project Online. But it now nothing stops you to creating like adding more connectors, and we'll have more connectors. So if you have even bigger fragmented project, which I would say that are rare, but it's still possibility, you can support it. We will be rolling out support of the scaled agile. So we have the fields, we have everything. We're just working on additional views, and there will be additional next year. There will be additional version where like even the interface will be transformed to support the safe. So there will be full support of the safe, and we are rolling that out. We're working on that actively. Okay. Benefits that we see for customers of companies who use Project Online. Again, you can merge the waterfall agile and you can do the hybrid project, which is critical. More visual timelines. We believe our timelines, they are more high level compared to roadmaps, and they're more visual. They are immediately out of the box and they kind of instantly available. We bring the portfolio management to Project Online platform. In most cases, if you have project line, you will have to configure that portfolio management, and you start facing those situations where you have, okay, I have Dropbox lookup table with my portfolio names. How do I add my new portfolio here? So it's not that easy. It requires configuration, and here we have it. We have portfolio management. We have all those containers. We have easy views with visualization, timelines, everything here. It also brings for companies with different tools and even with different database that PPM Express allows to establish that common process and framework across all the platform, because it's in the tool and data just flows there and you can have that information. Analytics. We believe like we invested so much into Power BI and that reporting package that you have all the data there from different systems, and you can use that for cross-tool, cross-platform, enterprise-wide reporting analytics for your projects. As I mentioned, because several features coming, so we'll be soon releasing that governance and data quality in app, not in the report. So the system will say that, okay, you have your project says that it's green, but in fact you have too late milestones. Maybe your project is not on track, and system will kind of like highlight those issues with data, so the project managers it will guide project managers where to look for problems. We're soon we're releasing that social ideation management, where like you can roll out PPM Express to every organization and start capturing ideas, voting, and creating projects from that. And safe as well coming, but safe will be more rolled out over the several steps during the next 2 quarters. We will be submitting very shortly the Microsoft Teams apps for collaboration. So they will be native apps, and you can integrate PPM Express into the Teams. And there are 2 types of integration. First, it's an app, and the second is that you can configure the Teams channel and link it to the project. And the system PPM Express will post updates about the project to that project. So that will be kind of like a stream or change log. So your project became critical. There are some late milestones. Someone made that change. So the system will keep adding some all the interaction and everything important into that team's channel about what's happening to the project. And you can use it for you can do that with you can be your standard channels at the standard team and channel for your project. It will just connect and will be adding information or information there. And very quickly about statistics. So we have connectors right now to Project Online, Azure DevOps, Planner, Jira, Office 365. So coming as soon as it's publicly available, we will be releasing connector to Project Service. So you'll be able to bring all that information together. And again, like do that recommended approach that Microsoft says, okay, use Project Online, but also like maybe start new projects in Project Service. With PPM Express, you will be able to see that big picture and both information from both systems. And in Q4 and first quarter of 2020, we'll work on adding the Dynamics Smart Sheet, Asana, and maybe Trello. So we are not sure yet, but definitely those are coming in the Q4 and the first quarter of 2020. Okay, so that was a presentation. Thank you for your time. So if you want to try it, sign up is free, and you can try it. We have a free tier, so you can go to the PPM Express, www.ppm.express. Just go there and sign up. There is like sign up button and connect to your project online. So it's very simple process. So give it a try, see how it works. If your company would like to have a personalized demo, please let us know. So you can contact us to the info at PPM Express. We can help you with a trial. We can do the demo. We can answer all your questions, and we can connect it to your one or multiple PWAs and Azure DevOps and show how it works. Again, thank you and have a great day.